Morning. Hello, Brett.
Morning, Greg. Morning, crew. How are you?
What's going on?
Hey, so I saw my buddy Jason Aldean is coming to Fenway Park this summer. Do you think he's trolling Tom Warner with the name of his concert, the tour?
I don't know the name of the Jason Aldean tour.
Oh, it is full throttle.
Oh, really?
Maybe Bregman can open for him.
Well, I'm just thinking Tom Warner on stage with Aldean at Fenway. I think the reception of that shall be awesome when he doesn't sign Bregman and the team gets off to a terrible start.
Yeah. We were talking about Bregman earlier, and
I heard. Yeah, I'm a little behind.
Seems like that train has left the station for the Red Sox.
Yeah, they're not. They're just not going to extend themselves. They're going to go high AAV with a shorter term, and he wants long term and long AAV. And his agent is Boris, and the Red Sox aren't going to extend themselves, and it's frustrating. I mean, it makes you think that they believe in the younger players, but there's so much risk in those younger players, and they're just going to get the perception. Greg, is they're just going to get crushed by the fans, and deservedly so, for not spending any money. You know what I mean? So the younger players can be good, and they can be winners, and they can be good players and help you win. But the ownership not spending, the ownership's getting outspent right now by the Oakland Athletics. I mean, the Oakland Athletics are outspending the Boston Red Sox in the offseason.
Brett,
how many times can you say that?
I have a question. You know, we both follow this, but you're a diehard seam head. How do they spin this? Like, how do you go say we're legitimately offering $700 million, cough, to Soto, and then sit out the rest of free agency outside of Walker Buehler?
Yeah, it'll come in a form of an extension for Garrett Crochet. That's step one. So when Garrett Crochet gets his extension, that'll be, well, we had to extend ourselves with prospects, which we had to get uncomfortable, and now we're going to pay the pitcher. But I've continued to tell you guys that's kind of the strike zone for the Red Sox with these young guys, is you're going to try to extend them and spend that way. But there is no – Curtis, they've signed 2 contracts since 2020 that have been longer than 2 years. Dude. They just don't spend.
And when I say that to Sam Kennedy, he looks at me like I told him he was 3'6". Like, he acts like I'm insane when I say they have had a massive shift in how they build the roster.
Right. I feel bad for Sam, because Sam is having to champion John Henry's ideals, right? He's having to be the mouthpiece for the ownership. But you also see over the last week or so, you've also seen 2 huge franchises in Major League Baseball come out about the economics of baseball. That's the Chicago Cubs owner, and that was the New York Yankees. They've both recently just said, well, we can't play in that same sandbox as the Los Angeles Dodgers in terms of economic spending.
Well, the Dodgers,
absolute.
It's BS. Sorry, I interrupted you. You're going to say
it is. It's just, so the Dodgers are on an island, and you're telling me that the New York Yankees are complaining about economic hardship, and the Chicago Cubs, and I spoke to Greg about this. The Chicago Cubs ownership is very similar to John Henry in terms of they've bought up all of the real estate around their ballpark. They've done a good job fixing up Wrigley. Red Sox have done a good job fixing up Fenway, but they've purchased the real estate all around the ballpark. So when you're talking about getting back to even in terms of economics on the field from your baseball team, it sounds hollow to me because of all the money that you make in marketing and in real estate around your ballpark, right? So it's like, we know that that's not true. And Curtis, didn't Sam tell you that too? Like,
they were breaking
a while ago.
He said when we were at spring training last year, they were trying to get to break even, right? Or whatever he said last.
That's
exactly what the Chicago Cubs said.
Yeah,
like it just and the fans just don't want to hear it. Like, fans don't want to hear that. And when you've missed out, Courtney hit it earlier. Courtney said it perfectly. It's like, well, you talk yourself into this player, they don't get it. And then you talk yourself into the next player, then they don't get that guy. Then it's like, how far down the list do we have to go for fans to get excited? And at some point, it's not worth it, right?
Brett,
so you're going to invest all your money in the young guys and just pray that they're good.
Brett, don't you think that they'll shove down our throats is that, if they don't get Bregman, they'll shove down our throats that their rotation pitching staff is the deepest that it's been, and that's been their biggest issue. And the hitting, they've been in, and I've always said this, they've been top 10 in most major categories. So hitting's not the biggest issue that they have. Don't you think that's the approach that they're going to shove down our throat, is how they have completely changed the pitching staff?
Yeah, I think you're right. Wiggy. They're going to have to, right? They're going to have to pivot somehow. But if you go back and if you play the Sam Kennedy audio where he's talking about, doesn't matter about going over the CVT, we don't want to win a wild card, we want to win the division. How do you sell your fans on that when you haven't made the improvements to be in that spot? Right? So you can say, yeah, sure, you made that trade, you signed Walker Buehler, you haven't addressed your bullpen. So as of right now, you haven't addressed your bullpen, and you haven't gotten the right-handed balance in your lineup. So the fans are smart. You haven't spent any money, and Sam literally said they want to win 95 games and win the division. But so it's another offseason of them saying things that just aren't adding up. You know what I mean? So is there a divide between Breslow and Sam Kennedy and Alex Cora? I don't know. But why would Sam at the beginning of the offseason say that if you're just not going to do it?
Baseball, Brett.
Right?
Always...
So now you're going to have to go out as of right now, if you're going to spend money, you can. I don't think they're going to, but now you're going to have to make a trade. So now you're going to have to give up more assets to give up a trade to get that right-handed bat, and you can sign a back-end bullpen, I guess, if you want. But those guys, there's been a run on those guys for the last week. All the bullpen arms are starting to sign.
It's full throttle. We're going full throttle 2026. The
only full throttle is going to be Jason Aldean at Fenway Park coming in May.
All right, baseball, Brett. Thank you. I don't know. Maybe they got something up their sleeve.
Yeah.
Right before spring training begins. Maybe.
February
14th.
When did Blake Snell sign? Wasn't it late into spring training? So maybe that's something like you said, they pull a rabbit out the hat with Bregman.
Yeah, not going to happen.
So who the hell knows?
Wiggy, you're always loyal.
Well, that's what they're going to sell. They're going to sell to us because Brett said
they better give you a golf cart this year, your own golf cart.
Wiggy, it's not about what they're going to sell us. It's about what we buy. And if you're still buying what they're selling, you're a moron.
No, it's Brett said, all right, the bullpen. They're going to sell us Liam Hendricks coming back.
Who's buying that?
They're going to sell us Aroldis Chapman.
Right, but who's buying that?
I don't know. There'll be Red Sox fans. I guarantee you there'll be Red Sox fans that buy it.
Right.
Guarantee.
What percentage of the Red Sox fan base?
I would probably say maybe 38% will buy that. Because if you look at their statistically where they finished last year in hitting, they were top 10. So they'll sell. Our biggest issue last year was our pitching, and we addressed those issues.
Right. If their hitting wasn't an issue, why were they willing to invest $700 million on a hitter?
Because they said that he was the Ted Williams of his era.
Right, but it's just a bonus. They don't need it.
Well, it's Ted Williams.
That's a pretty big bonus offer.
No, it's like when it's the Tom Brady, the Michael Jordan. When
no Brady talk.
When it's that guy, you invest or you make a hard push for that guy. So,
but whether you're the Red Sox or the Yankees or the White Sox, I like to whine about what the Dodgers are doing does you no good. You're still going to have to keep competing with them.
You would think.
But he is on John Henry heads an economic reform committee for Major League Baseball on behalf of the commissioner to get spending down.
Well, the Dodgers didn't get the memo.
Right. Well, and so if you believe that the Red Sox actually invested $700 million potentially in Soto, then I don't know what to tell you. I hope you don't lose a tooth.
But they do. Brett is right where they do own these franchises own all the ventures around the ballpark, so they have the opportunity to make money.
Right.
Food and bev and not in probably not in dry January.